Hello everyone, and welcome to Shell Point Today for the weekend of August 5th, 6th, and 7th. I'm Dan Philgreen. On today's show, we'll find out how things are shaping up down in the Creativity Tunnel at the train room as they prep for next season. And we'll have the top stories from this last week. But first, we'd like to remind you of a lunch outing on Saturday to Saltwater Smokehouse in St. James City. This restaurant uses mainly oak smoke, supplemented with mesquite for that extra something special flavor. This Pine Island barbecue establishment is unpretentious, but they serve some really great food. Court pickups begin on the island Saturday at 10:15 a.m., and the cost of the trip is $7 with lunch on your own. Looking ahead to Monday, you won't want to miss the outing to the Southwest Florida Military Museum. Displays range from the Revolutionary War through the Afghanistan conflict. All artifacts were donated or loaned by the military, government, or individuals. Thousands of hours over the last few years have been spent collecting, repairing, and cleaning military items for viewing by the public. Lunch will be served at the mess hall, which is bound to be a treat. The cost of the outing is $15, which does include lunch at the mess hall. Court pickups for those who sign up begin on the island at 9 a.m. on Monday. Every year during their off-season, volunteers in the train room are busy cleaning, repairing, and improving this elaborate scale model train wonderland that's in the shape of the state of Florida. Just recently, volunteer coordinator Beth Crenshaw gave us a sneak peek at how things are shaping up prior to the train room's reopening for the next season.
Hey, what are you guys doing over here?
Just looking at the train here.
Yeah, it's the neatest thing.
It is. Have you been in before?
No.
I
Can you go in?
I think they're closed, but it looks like there's someone there. Let's see.
Oh,
It's locked, but here comes Phyllis.
me?
I'm sorry, we're closed until October 3rd, but we'll be open soon, okay? Sorry to disappoint y'all.
Come on, Phyllis. It's me. You know me.
Beth.
Just once, this one time, a sneak peek.
A sneak preview, okay.
All
All
right.
right, a sneak preview. Come on, guys.
Okay, go on in.
Thank you. You can see this has been lifted out of this square and put down here so they can work on it. You'll see big holes in the layout, and that's for the engineers or the helpers, the volunteers, to be able to get up inside and do the work. All right. We have something special that we've done this year, though. Come on up on the ramp. I want you to meet someone up here. I want you all to meet this man because he is a genius.
Well, thank you, Phyllis.
Okay. He has devised this whole method here of a road, and we have little cars moving on it now. And I'll let Rick tell you a little bit about it, Rick.
Yeah, this new feature is a computer-controlled automobiles and trucks and buses that run around the city of Fort Myers we have here, and of course the airport. And it's a real neat feature this year. I think people really like it.
We are now going to meet Joe, and Joe is helping us out, another volunteer. And Joe, can you show us what's underneath there that's making everything
These are the
move?
boards for the trains. We run about nine trains at a time. There's 33 trains total. But we run 9 at a time, and they have these very intricate circuit boards, as you can see. There's 4 of them, one over there, one here, and one over here, that runs the end that takes care of our roundhouse. But the circuits boards are extremely detailed, as you can see. And they all link up with all of the various trains and the switches and anything you want to do. If you need to switch a train from this track over to this track, you have to move the switch and move that switch to get it to that. And they can all be run at the same time. And the engineers have to stay in here on guard watching their trains, because even though the trains are programmed to go at the same speed, some of them creep up and they have to slow them down. Other ones will have to be speeded up, and they have to make sure they don't run into one another. They also have to make sure they're on the right track.
Now there are more volunteers in here. They come in all week long, and they're doing exactly what they always do at the desks and at the tables, and I'm going to show you these people, and they'll tell you what they're doing too. Are you ready? Yeah. Talk about tiny little miniature work. This is what Babs does she's done so much on the landscaping that you see here. And this is what she does. She sits here, and Babs, you can tell them what you do.
Some things like this can be taken out. So when we clean up, it's just much easier to do it here. This, and then here's our Memorial Park, which, as you can see, has all kinds of. And what about the grills, sandwich, all that?
So much detail.
Babs makes it look like it was in the 50s and 60s. That's just what she's doing. And out in the mountain room, we have Lynn. And Lynn is cleaning up or something. Why don't you tell us what you're doing here?
I'm actually vacuuming around the tracks and brushing off all the roofs and the houses and all the little cars that are around. And this is, I call it Space Mountain, but it's really Train Mountain. And it's based on the fact that trains are built for the gauge of the track. And so these trains are an O gauge here, an S gauge here, HO here, N, and the top one up here is a Z gauge. So it's a child or adult child's place to play. And why don't you come over here and push one of the buttons and you can see which ones.
Okay, Joe, that's a big one here.
All right. So now you see that go around?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who does she do?
Okay, now he's doing the N up here.
So the Z one is the little one right up there?
The Z1 is there. There he goes.
Oh, that's so cute.
And I'm sure some of us remember when we were children, there were different parks in our communities that would have just that little one going around.
Well, there you've seen it all. We're still kind of in the rough here, but October 3rd, it'll be open. If you happen to be back in the area, you can come in. It's going to look totally different than it does right now. But it's, we open at 1:30 and we stay open until 3:30, and there are tours. We'd like to have you come. We can use docents, we can use engineers, and greeters. We can certainly use greeters. So come join our happy family. Don't tell anyone you've been in here, because we may not be able to open it up again.
And now it's time to cover all of today's happenings, menus, and village church connections.
Hello and welcome to the weekend edition of the Happenings segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Bev Chandley.
And I'm Caitlin Van Scoy.
We're going to go over the activities offered for you Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're going to start with Friday at 8 o'clock. We have men's round robin tennis at the Woodlands. And we have the stamp ministry down in the tunnel in the stamp room at 8:15. From 8:30 until 11:30, the Friday marketplace will be in the administration courtyard on the island. At 9 o'clock, we have canasta and samba, both. That'll be in the second floor lobby of the Woodlands. At 10 o'clock, we have men's match play tennis down at the Woodlands tennis courts. We have our Inquiring Minds group meeting in the Manatee Room at 10:15. Also at 10:15, the Model Yacht Sailing Club will be down at the Woodlands Commons Lake. Continuing into the afternoon, we have 12:30 Mixed Progressive Bridge at the Woodlands Game Room. We have Zumba Fitness in the Health Club at 12:45. And at 1 o'clock, the Diabetes Group appointment will go on at the Social Center. At 1:15, we have Advanced Table Tennis in the Tarpon Room. And the Osprey Room will be full of quilters at 1:15. At 1:30, we have our first Vespers. That's in the Community Room of the Arbor. Bid Euchre will be played at the Sable Room of the Woodlands at 2 o'clock. Water volleyball will be at the LifeQuest Aquatic Center at 2:15. And 2:30, we have our second Vespers. That'll be in the Community Room of King's Crown. Ballroom Dance Group will be at the Health Club at 3:15. And our final Vespers will be at the Springs at 3:30. Our final activity for Friday is a 6:45 game night at the Resident Activity Center. Caitlin, what's going on Saturday?
Well, Bev, Saturday morning starts at 8 o'clock with pickleball at the game courts behind the Resident Activity Center. And also at 8, the round robin tennis is going on at the Woodlands. Men's and women's doubles tennis will follow that at 9:30 at the Woodlands tennis courts. And duplicate bridge is going on in the Manatee Room at 9:45. A lunch outing to Saltwater Smokehouse on Pine Island will leave from the island at 10:15, 10:25 Woodlands, and 10:35 Eagles Preserve and Estuary. Chess is going on at 1 o'clock at the Library Lounge. And at 1:15, table tennis is going on in the Tarpon Room. Our last Saturday activity is basic line dancing in the Health Club, and that occurs at 3:15. Bev, tell us about Sunday.
We're going to start at 9 o'clock Sunday morning with Christian Life Studies. That'll be in the game room of the Woodlands as well as at the Village Church. Our morning worship service at the Village Church will be at 10:15 and also broadcast live on ShellPoint TV, Channel 13. We're going to jump all the way to 4:15 this afternoon for Latin-sized dance group. That'll be in the Health Club. And the last activity of the weekend is our 6:15 evening service at the Village Church. We wish you a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you back here next week.
Menus for your weekend. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter on Friday is grilled tuna with marinated noodles and Asian slaw. For dinner, they have their a la carte menu. The soup of the day is lentil. In the Island Cafe on Friday, the sandwich special is a bacon blue cheeseburger with fries for $7.75. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill on Friday are braised lamb shanks for $16.95 or root beer marinated pork tenderloin for $15.95. On Saturday, the Crystal Room is closed. In the Island Cafe on Saturday, the sandwich special is a BLT on white or wheat with a cup of soup for $7.75. In the Palm Grill on Saturday, you can have prime rib for $20.95. On Sunday, the Crystal Room features its Sunday brunch for $17.50. In the Island Cafe on Sunday, the sandwich special is a hot dog or a hamburger platter with potato salad, watermelon, and ice cream for $7.75. And the Palm Grill is closed on Sundays. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Welcome to the Village Church Connection. My name is Don Pullen, and I'm here with Scott Ading, our staff chaplain here at ShellPoint. And we just want to remind you of the things that are coming up this weekend at the Village Church. At 10:15 on Sunday morning, Pastor Andy will be speaking from 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Every Communion Sunday, he's been doing a meditation on this chapter and really leads well into the communion service. What's 1 Corinthians 13 about, Scott?
Unconditional love, the love of God for us.
That amazing love that he has for us. And as Andy has been opening these up on the first Sunday of each month, they've been very encouraging.
And it's very appropriate on Communion Sunday because that's the expression of God's love through Jesus Christ's sacrifice.
Well, do you know what's going on Sunday evening?
Pastor Andy's going to be back, and he's starting a whole brand new series. And the series is a little bit of a mystery to us because he's actually enjoying his vacation now, and we're not going to interrupt that vacation and try to figure out what's going on.
So we don't have a title for the message, and we don't even know where he's going yet, but we know it'll be exciting, right?
We're going to come very curious on Sunday night.
He did say that he's going to begin something that he'll be working on for a while, so it'll be exciting to see where our Sunday evening services will go for the next few weeks and maybe even a few months. So if people come out, it'll be a little bit of a mystery that it will be solved on Sunday evening, and that's 6:15 Sunday evening, and we want to encourage everybody to go out. So 10:15 in the morning, 6:15 in the evening. Hopefully it works out on your schedule to come out to one or both of those services. We certainly look forward to seeing you. And thank you for watching the Church Connections.
And now it's time to revisit the top stories from this week. Ruth Rogers of Palm Acres has sought God's direction for her life since childhood. Her faith has been a focal point throughout her early years and her college and Bible school, and then in her marriage to a missionary pilot. Here again is her story presented in this new segment entitled ShellPoint Community Life Portraits.
My name is Ruth Rogers, and I live here at ShellPoint. We came in the year of 1995, so we live in Palm Acres. I like the environment. It really has a very friendly attitude for all of us, and we can find friends no matter when, where, or what the need might be. I came to know the Lord when I was just a little girl of about age 5. I knew him simplistically, but I didn't know all that I know now, of course. But he has meant everything in my life since then. Actually, my interest in becoming a missionary started in the Church of the Open Door in Philadelphia when a young girl, Laura Bell Barr, was being presented with her missionary work. And as I sat there, the Lord said to me, "Ruth, don't you think that you ought to put yourself out on the limelight for me?" And it was the beginning of my endeavor to serve the Lord completely. I went to Bob Jones and also to Philadelphia School of the Bible. When I was at Bob Jones, one chapel service really is outstanding in my mind. It was made very clear to me that morning, God doesn't want just what you're offering him, he wants you. And it was just sort of a finger in my face to say, "You, Ruth." And I did have a little PS when I said, "Oh, but not the mission field." But that was exactly what God was getting to. One day I met a young man who was to be a missionary pilot. And was I willing to be a missionary pilot's wife in a foreign country? Paul and I were first serving in Iztapa, Chiapas, Mexico. It was a stop-off before missionaries would go to jungle camp, as well as our service there was to support the missionaries who were already existing on the field. But in my life, I was to be presenting the gospel. And we did not have language study as we started out. The only Christian girl in the town asked me, could I teach her from the Bible? Well, how do you do it when you don't even speak the language? But I knew God wanted me to use our service there for him. I would just think, Lord, I'm here for your doings, and you've got to make me love these people, which he did. In a small town, you look for someone or something that can make you feel comfortable. And so it was that I became acquainted with many people. I'm sort of an outgoing person, that they would come to my house on Sunday afternoons, and we would try to say a few words in Spanish, and they would read the Spanish Bible verses that I knew would present the gospel. And through that, 27 people came to know the Lord. That was not my doings, but his. If they could sense your love, they could sense your love was coming from God, because that's what we're to radiate, his love. After our 2 years in Mexico, we were sent to Honduras. It was an opportunity in many ways to serve the Lord in a hospital ministry. I would sing with this little auto harp, and then I would present the gospel every Friday morning in the hospital. And it was my joy to present to them the plan of knowing how for sure they would go to heaven by accepting the Lord Jesus Christ as the one who paid for their sin and who made it possible for them to have eternal life. Paul was always flying, and it was for different areas and for doing different things. But this one day, a fellow who had just joined MAF, which was our Mission Aviation Fellowship, had decided that he would come to Honduras and take a look at how the work actually was affecting on the field. And he wanted to go out to one of the villages. And just as they were about to leave, the sky looked very suspicious to me, kind of a yellowy look. And I said to Paul, I don't know whether you ought to really go. He says, well, we're going. And he had me pray just for their endeavor to go. And that was the last I saw of Paul, because on their way returning, they had this accident and he crashed. And there were 3 of them who were in the plane, and they were all taken to glory. These trials and tribulations often will draw us closer to the Lord. And it was through that that I had intimate relationship with him and asking him, what next, Lord? What is to happen in my life? And he very readily showed me when he brought into my life my present husband, Ted Rogers. We knew each other from when we were children in the Church of the Open Door, but God so arranged it that he would be brought into my life, and he had just lost his wife. And between the 2 of us, we decided that we could arrange a family with mother and father. We got married after I had been single for 1 year. His time was just a little bit shorter. but it did unite two families that were all believing. Ted and I have been married for 44 years, 21 of which spent here at Shell Point. My children are very faithful in speaking to both Ted and me. Eunice is a missionary in Barcelona, Spain. So is her daughter, Sheila. The two of them are serving the Lord there in the seminary. And my son, Steve, has a different ministry, and he's serving the Lord in computer work. He goes around with his wife and does her sound system in her church. She works with the youth, and his daughter works with the elderly. The one daughter is working as a musical director in a church outside of Chicago. Someone who might want to be a missionary should first of all be assured that God is leading. If a young person is struggling, let them look at some of the stories in the Bible. Do you think Gideon really wanted to be in God's service as he was? Do you think Moses really wanted to be? Just go through the list and you can find that most often God uses something that is seemingly worthless and makes it into something that's great, because you know little is much when God is in it. It isn't just being a missionary in the past. It's a continuing process, and I endeavor to do anything that God directs me to do in His service until the day that He calls me home. My hope is that I might glorify Him on a daily basis, waiting for opportunities that He affords where I might minister and tell others how they can have the joy of knowing Christ. My interest in music has never been stopped, and I'm afraid that I'll carry that with me until I'm taken. But it's an opportunity to present the Lord. To me, the song that has been a special blessing in my life has been one that was written on the mission field, was this: "Where am I to serve Thee today? Here at home or lands far away? Thy command I long to obey. Use me, Lord, yes, use me, Lord. Take my hand and lead me each day. Guide my feet in Thy paths alway. Teach me, Lord, just what to say. Use me, Lord, yes, use me, Lord. May I sense the need here and there. May I pray with one who needs prayer. May I help some burden to bear. Use me, Lord, yes, use me, Lord. May they feel Thy love live through me. May they hear of Christ and go free. May they too desire to serve Thee. Use me, Lord, yes, use me, Lord." God has given us a wonderful experience here at Shell Point. We've been used of Him in different areas. In music, Ted has had opportunities to do other things to help people. And we just look to the Lord to just one day at a time show us, what is your plan? Fear the Lord and serve Him in truth with all your heart. For consider how great things He hath done for you. That's about it.
Also this week, we took a trip down to the art studio in the Creativity Tunnel to check out the latest creations that are on display. It's a collection of mixed media that we thought you might enjoy. Earlier this week, we introduced you to a familiar face with a new position here at Shell Point. She's not a new employee because she has already worked here at Shell Point in the health club as the fitness supervisor. That was her old position, but now in her new position as Resort Services and Wellness Manager, Michelle, who was Michelle Smith and is now Michelle Tompkins, left her old position to take the new position as the Resort Services and Wellness Manager. Got it? Anyway, here again is Laura Slack, Director of Resident Life, in an interview from this week with Michelle Tompkins as they talked about her new position.
Hi, I'm Laura Slack, and I'm the Director of Resident Life, and today I wanted to introduce a new manager to our team. Her name's Michelle Tompkins, and you may have seen her around before. She's been with us for 5 years, but I want to introduce you to her in her new role as Manager of Resort Services. So Michelle, welcome.
Thank you so much.
And we're so glad that you are now the manager. And tell us and tell the audience a little bit about yourself and what you plan to do in Resort Services.
I'm really excited to be here, Laura, as the Resort Services and Wellness Manager. My former role was fitness supervisor. I came to Shell Point in January of 2011. I formerly did a lot of personal training, taught various classes, which many of the residents watching are probably very familiar with my face. I have taken part in a lot of Health Connection and Life Quest events here at Shell Point, and through personal training and fitness, we have grown it exponentially, that I have had the ability to hire 2 new personal trainers to assist in my former role as fitness supervisor. But here I am now as Resort Services and Wellness Manager, which I'm very pleased to have accepted that position and excited about this new role, that I'm going to be at a lot of events, help organize some events on property as well, and play a role in that. I've got a lot of great ideas to support our staff and our team with.
Well, good. Well, tell the residents at Shell Point a little bit about yourself, where you were born.
Okay. A lot of them already know I'm from Ohio. I went to Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, and here's a fact, and I know there are some out there that are very, very familiar with that college. Miami University in Ohio was a college before Miami, Florida, or before Florida, I guess I should say, was ever a state.
Wow.
So Miami University was found in 1809. That's a Jeopardy fact there.
Mm-hmm.
Born and raised in Ohio, I moved to Fort Myers, Florida, moved to the beach in 2010. My grandparents have lived in Cape Coral all their lives. Now they're up in Ohio. But I've been coming down here since I was 6 months old, going to Love Boat ice cream, going around and enjoying the beach. So I decided, hey, you only live once, right? So I moved down here, and I was very blessed to be at the right place at the right time. And I came here to Shell Point to be the first ever fitness supervisor. But many of you know that I love to be active. I love to work out. I love to go to the beach. And most importantly, I love my dog, Bosco, and I have another dog, Bo. So many people know I'm that dog lover too.
Oh. So when I started, you were on maternity leave.
Yes.
So your first day back, you applied for this new position.
I did.
And so while you were on maternity leave, you had a little boy.
I had a boy,
Okay.
a baby boy. Many of the residents have called and asked and emailed, and I've been very blessed to have the support of the residents and the staff here at Shell Point.
Well, we're excited to have you on as part of the team, and be looking for Michelle around Shell Point for the different events and activities and fitness, and we'll see you around Shell Point.
Thank you.
Well, it's time again for the Legacy Foundation's Money Week, a special time when residents can have a free 30-minute consultation with Southwest Florida's leading tax, legal, investment, and insurance professionals. There are just 2 more days left, August 9th and 10th. So make sure that you call right away to check on availability. Jeff Corey met with Melody Desale recently to discuss creative ways to promote this event. Now, how did their discussion go? Well, in case you missed it, here's the segment once more.
Okay, Melody, the last thing on our agenda is we've got to promote Money Week. It's a really big thing, so start thinking about some ways we can promote it on TV.
Okay, I know that it's important for our residents. I really want to promote it well, so let's go for it.
Okay, you get right on it, and I'll be back soon.
Okay, sounds good. Money Week, how do we promote this? It's so important. Money Week, Money Week.
And welcome back to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? I'm Regis Philgreen. And we have here Melody Desalegn, who has answered the $500,000 question. Now, if you lose this next question, you lose big. But I have to ask you, do you want to be a millionaire?
Well, I'll be honest, Regis, I am extremely nervous. But I came here on a risk, so let's go for that $1 million question.
Melody, for $1 million, the question is, who or what is the best guiding resource for philanthropic counsel, generational gifting, daily money management, and estate and fiduciary services? A politician, B, the internet, C, the Legacy Foundation, or D, your mother-in-law? Melody, for $1 million, what is your answer?
You know, I'm going to have to use a lifeline on this. My gut says one thing, but I'd like to be 100% sure.
Melody, you have one lifeline left. Would you like to phone a friend?
Yes, that is the only lifeline I have left. Now, the irony does not escape me on this one. My phone a friend is actually going to be my mother-in-law.
All right, and what is your mother-in-law's name?
Susan Desalegn.
Susan, well, we'll have our friends at AT&T get a hold of Susan, and you can ask your question.
Hello?
Susan, yes, we have Melody here. She is about to answer the question for $1 million. Now, she wants to ask you a question. The next voice you hear will be Melody.
Hi, Mama Son. It's so nice to hear your voice, but I got to wrap this up. Who or what is the best guiding resource for philanthropic counsel, generational gifting, daily money management, and estate and fiduciary services? A, a politician, B, the internet, C, the Legacy Foundation, or D, your mother-in-law? What's your thoughts on this?
Gee, Melody, I'm not really sure. My reaction is to choose a politician because they're well-versed in programs and services.
That's your gut reaction? That's your final answer on this?
I'm sorry, Melody. That's the best answer. Good luck. Love you.
Okay. Hope to see you soon. Love you. Bye.
Now, Melody, your mother-in-law suggested you answer a politician, A. Now, you know you could walk away right now and have $500,000, $500,000. And if you answer wrong, you're going to lose big. So I ask you, what is your answer?
Okay. Well, I think because the defining factor with my decision is the money week that the Legacy Foundation puts on. It's coming up soon. It's wonderful for all the things listed in that question. I am going to go with letter C, the Legacy Foundation.
All right, is that your final answer?
Final answer.
And the answer is C, the Legacy Foundation. Melody Desalegn, you have won $1 million. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have a millionaire here, Melody Desalegn.
Melody. Melody.
Oh, hey, Jeff. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Did you come up with the idea for the Money Week promotion?
Yeah, I have a few good ideas swirling around. What did you come up with?
I'm thinking we just do a Shell Point TV commercial. You interview me.
Do you think that's the best way to promote this?
I think so. You know what? That's my final answer.
What in the world? I gotta check my bank account.
Also this week we brought you another... Oh, wait a minute, wrong voice. Sorry. Also this week we brought you another installment of What's Cooking at Shell Point. Ruth Duber joined David Lee to show us how to blend up a delicious strawberry smoothie.
Hello, I'm Ruth Duber. And I'm David Lee with what's cooking at Shell Point.
Okay, we're going to do something that's going to be very quick and easy and very much into summer.
And good.
And I'm going to make a strawberry smoothie. I've cut up some strawberries, and of course right now they're very reasonably priced. It calls for 1.5 cups. I don't know, it's hard to measure cut up fruit. So I'm just going to put this in, and there's a couple more in there, into the blender. And then you want cream cheese. Now I did buy the less fat. It's, entirely up to you. You can use the full fat. So we will put these little cut up pieces in there. And then we want 1/2 cup of confectioner's sugar, powdered sugar, whatever you want to call it. This is 1/2 cup. And of course it has to go over to the blender. And with this, make sure you put the lid on, or we will have powdered sugar on you and on Dan and everybody else. This takes a little while. And I had a thought this morning. Blueberries are in season.
Why not?
Let's just add a few blueberries. So I'm just going to dump these in. Whoops, don't let them get away. And so now we'll blend it again. Okay, now we're ready for the next step. And David is going to do this for me. He's going to blend in and fold in it calls the half of this 8 ounce. And I got the light. So that is keeping this a little better for your diet. So I'm going to push this in here. Actually, I like the little flecks of the blueberries in there. So David, I'm going to let you take over.
Okay. And you want this folded in, right?
Folded in. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What I do sometimes is to put about 1/3 of it in and mix it more than, not really fold it, but to get it started, and then put the rest in. And Ruth, as you well know, folding means trying to keep as much air as possible.
That's right.
In this. So while it seems like it takes a while, that's what gives it the nice light flavor.
Now, actually, it is better when it's fully chilled. It takes about 2 hours or so. But we're going to taste it anyway, even because it's still good.
I often don't completely mix it because it takes the air out of it.
Okay.
So
all right, we can do that. You want to put some in that, put that in that wine glass.
Yeah.
Okay? Oh, that's good. Okay. Now this is the fun part. I have some toasted almonds there. You want to sprinkle a couple on the top?
I'd be glad to.
See, I'm trying to dress things up like you and Margie do.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Okay, there
Ladies
it is.
first.
All righty. As I say, it would be better when it's fully chilled.
Well, I'll come back in a couple hours and we'll have some more. Wow.
I love it with the blueberries in it.
Yeah, it adds a little different flavor to it. Yeah. Wow.
Well, you know, we like it. I'm going to put the recipe up on the website, and I hope you'll try it and come back and see us again.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Also this week, we brought you fitness instructor Melanie Broad on location at the LifeQuest Aquatic Center with another fit tip.
Hi, Melanie Broad. Thank you for joining me at the Aquatic Center with today's Fit Tip. One more balance exercise you can practice in the pool with the noodle. And all you do is you take a giant step forward with your foot. Your back heel should naturally rise up off the bottom of the pool. And then you would lift your front toe up. And to make it more difficult, you would get those noodles up and out of the water so you don't have the buoyancy of the noodle to help you balance. Good. Back heel is up, front toe is up, right? Bring the noodle back down. When you switch legs, I want you to give me a big hop as you switch legs. Back foot's on its, front foot's on its heel, you got it. Get that noodle up, hold it. Can you look up today? Take a big breath in. Relax it down, bring your feet together. Good job, everybody. That's a great tip, fit tip. Easy to do. Challenge your balance. Thanks for joining me again for another fit tip.
And finally this week, we brought you some breathtaking scenery from high in the sky. It's another bird's eye view of Shell Point from above. This time we went out on a limb, literally, to bring you some images of newly planted trees at the estuary, as well as some old favorites on the island and elsewhere. And that's going to wrap it up for this weekend edition of Shell Point Today for August 5th, 6th, and 7th. I'm Dan Philgreen, thanking you for joining us this week, and we look forward to seeing you again on Monday.